guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to what will probably be my last video of 2021. Today we're going to be talking about the items in my wardrobe that I've worn the most over the entire year. So the last couple of years I've been keeping like a tally checklist, and at the end of each day I tally up, like I put a little tally next to every item that I've worn that day. So I think I used to do this video before my tally, but I was just kind of guessing at what I felt like I'd worn the most, but now I actually know for sure how many times I've worn each item. I've picked out one, sometimes two items from each category, so we're going to start with dresses. I actually have two dresses because I've worn them the exact same number of times, but the first one is this orange gingham print midi dress, which is from Dangerfield, and I've worn this 24 times this year. And the other one, which I've also worn 24 times, is this cat print smock dress, which is also from Dangerfield. So they're both from the same store. I got them at the same time last year. It was about this time last year actually. So I've had them for almost exactly a year. And yeah, I've worn them 24 times each. They're my most worn dresses. And then another piece which is also from Dangerfield. So these are my only three items from Dangerfield, but they've all made it into my most worn this year. So this is a midi length red skirt, which I wore 17 times this year. I mean, I remember saying this time last year is the perfect color to wear around Christmas time, but it's also the perfect item to put a pair of tights, black chunky boots with, and then I just wore it all through winter as well. So it really is a year-round piece, and that generally, for most of these items, if I've worn them lots, it's because I'm able to wear them all the way through the year. Next up for footwear, I have picked out two pieces of footwear, even though I haven't worn them the same amount of times. But first up is my brown slip-on sandals. I've worn these 67 times this year. These are from Hannah's. I think I've had them for about 4 years now, so they really are an older piece in my collection, but they're just so easy to wear. You slip them on, you don't have to deal with buckles or laces or anything, and the brown goes with everything, and I wear them all year except for winter. So any other season I will pair these with just about anything. I think I do need to replace these because you can see here on one of them the material is actually starting to fray. So, and I think 4 years is a good amount of time to get from a pair of shoes, especially a pair of shoes that I'm wearing this often, but I think this summer might be the time to replace them. The other pair of shoes that I've worn a lot this year is a newer pair that I actually picked up in autumn, and it is my black flat boots. Now these do have laces, but they're just for show. They have a zip on the inside, so they're actually really quick and easy to get on as well. And these completely replaced my heeled black boots that I had, so all through autumn and winter, and even, you know, the start of spring when it's still quite cold, this was the main pair of shoes I was reaching for. So I wore these 62 times this year, which is definitely a good amount. So very close to the 67 times that I wore those other shoes. Yeah, 62 times for a new pair of shoes. Oh, I don't think I said, these are from Hush Puppies, but I got them through Hannah's. My most worn jumper this year was actually a cardigan, and interestingly, I think my top three jumpers, like my three most worn jumpers this year, were all cardigans. So I obviously just had a year of really liking cardigans, but this is the one that I wore the most. So this is from Abercrombie & Fitch, but through ASOS, and it's just like a grey past the bum cable knit cardigan, and I just wore it with absolutely everything. I wore it with this dress quite a lot of times actually, I remember, like through winter. But yeah, it was the perfect throw-on piece for, I mean, during winter as well, but also in autumn and spring when it was like cold enough to throw something on, but not cold enough for a coat and not cold enough to know if you were going to need the jumper all day. So something that's just easy to slip off if you get a bit warm as well. So this one I wore 28 times this year. For outerwear, I have two things to show you again because I wore them the same amount of times, but they are for totally different seasons. So my most worn coat was this one. So this is a brown teddy coat from H&M, which I've had for a couple of years now, and I wore this 11 times. I think normally I get more wear out of my outerwear. Last year I probably wore most of my coats more than 11 times, but we were in lockdown for like the majority of winter this year, so I just wasn't wearing coats all that much because I wasn't leaving the house. But yeah, I wore this one 11 times, my most worn coat, and then also worn 11 times is my denim jacket, which is from Glassons. So this obviously is for a totally different season. This I wear more so in spring and summer. So this one I've been wearing more like recently. My most worn top is a very boring one. If you watch my previous video, you will have seen me mention this already. But it's just this plain black t-shirt, which I wore 35 times because it's so easy to just chuck under a jumper in autumn and winter, or just wear it on its own when it's a bit warmer. So I always have a bunch of these like layering pieces that I mostly wear through autumn and winter, because if it's warmer I tend to go for a dress. But yeah, I wore this 35 times. It's just from Farmers. The brand is Body Code. Pretty basic, boring, but definitely a staple that needs to be in the wardrobe. My most worn trousers was a pair of jeans, no surprises there, but the particular jeans were the Editor jeans from Topshop in the like light blue wash. So these I also wore 35 times, which, considering I am a dress person and I like wear dresses all through the year, for me to wear a pair of trousers 35 times in a year is pretty good. It says that I really like those trousers. So yeah, these are definitely doing me really well. I've had these again for probably 3 years now and still loving them. As you can tell, my most reached for pair of denim. Loungewear. Now again, you heard me talk about some of these in my previous video. So my most worn set is from Arby and Opal. So the hoodie I wore 66 times, I think. Let me check the list. Yeah, so I wore this 66 times this year. Again, keep in mind we were in lockdown, so I probably wore loungewear more than I would have if I'd had to be going to work every day, because if I didn't have any Zoom calls, I literally just lived in a loungewear set. And then the matching joggers I wore 62 times, which honestly I'm surprised it's not the other way around. I would have thought that I would wore the joggers more often than the hoodie, because on a Zoom call, I remember being in joggers and then putting on like a jumper so that they wouldn't know that I was in loungewear. I don't know how it worked out that way, but yeah, I wore the hoodie slightly more times than the joggers. And then this crop was what I was reaching for to go like underneath it, just super cozy and comfy. Not that anyone generally saw it, but just made me feel good. This is from Bonita Footwear, so a different brand. I wore this 53 times, so generally if I was in loungewear I'd have this on underneath. Then for bags, now my most worn bag I only wore 11 times, but again I think it's because of lockdown, because normally, I mean, I don't take a little handbag with me to school because nothing fits in it, but if I'm going shopping like in the weekends or in the school holidays, generally I'll have a little handbag with me. But I think again because of lockdown, I just wasn't going anywhere during lockdown, and then also since lockdown's lifted, I've still just been very cautious and not really wanting to go anywhere if I don't really have to. So 11 times is how many times I wore my most worn bag this year. But it is this brown bag from Forever New. It has the gold detailing on it. I love it because it does literally go with anything. Like the brown color is just such an easy color to style. But yeah, normally I would wear it a lot more than 11 times in a year, but obviously it was just a funny little year. And then, okay, so we're in accessories now. So my most worn belt was this new black belt that I picked up from Max. I think it was this year actually. And it is real leather, so my old belt was not real leather and it kind of fell apart, so I thought I'd invest in a real leather belt. So this one is beautiful. Again, it's got the gold hardware on it, and I wore this 29 times. Again, I think I probably would have worn it more if there hadn't been a lockdown and I'd been like getting dressed properly, but because I spent so much of lockdown in loungewear, I didn't get as much use out of this belt as I probably would have otherwise. But yeah, like I quite often belt my dresses, especially in autumn and winter if I'm popping on a jumper with them, because then I'll tuck the jumper into the belt. Yeah, not so much a summer thing for me because I like to have a bit of airflow. But yeah, I also wore them with like the jeans that I showed you just before. So yeah, definitely got lots of use out of this, which is good because it cost me like $80. And then to wrap up the last few pieces, I'm just going to show you some of my most worn jewellery. So these are my most worn earrings. They are the Bubble Huggies from Latest Oasis, which is a New Zealand brand. These are like my everyday leave-in earrings, so I sleep in them, I shower in them. If I'm not putting on a different pair of earrings, this will be what I'm wearing, so by default they are my most worn, and I wore them 181 times this year. But since those are my leave-in ones, I thought I'd also show you my next most worn. So these ones I actually, you know, have to make an effort to put them in if I want to wear them. So these I wore 28 times. And these are the same brand and the same style of earrings, but they have these orange little gemstones in them. So these are just like, I call them the orange huggies. I don't know if that's their proper name, but that is what I call them. And then also from Latest Oasis, gosh, I'm really repping them today, aren't I? But this is my most worn necklace. This is their T-bar necklace. And I have another necklace that I prefer that I usually would wear more than this, but it broke a few months ago and I haven't gotten it fixed yet because of lockdown. So this is like my second favorite necklace, so that's why this one's been worn more than my favorite necklace. And I wore that 79 times this year. And then the very last item that I'm showing you today is this watch. This is my everyday watch that I wear to work. I don't generally wear it unless I'm going to work because I can check my phone if I'm not at work. But for work, this is what I will always wear. I wore it 147 times. So I'm gonna guess that after lockdown, 147 times is the amount of days that we actually had of the school year this year. But yeah, this is a rose gold watch from Pesco's. I've had it for like, 5 or 6 years now, and I love it. And that is going to wrap up today's video. Those are my most worn pieces of clothing from each category in my wardrobe. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the new year. Bye!